Hey guys, Dr. Seamus here, and I'm going to be talking about natural eczema solutions in this video. And this is a condition that is very common today and oftentimes can start in childhood, but really can persist into adulthood and affect so many people. And this is a dermatitis type of situation where patches of the skin become inflamed, red, and irritated. There can be recurrent rashes, and it can really just absolutely take its toll on quality of life, on mindset. People can really suffer from lower self-esteem. They distance themselves from others. And a lot of patients I work with have been told, this is a condition you're going to have for life. There really is no cure. And I'm here to offer a little bit more hope than that and tell you that I've seen it firsthand. This can absolutely turn around. And I'm going to start off by talking about some of the most aggravating factors that can cause eczema, and then we'll move into some natural solutions. And so, really, when it comes to food, there are four main things that can really contribute, four kind of categories. And these are going to be number one, gluten containing grains. We know that in the presence of gluten, this zonulin protein is released, okay, and it can actually directly open up the gut barrier and the gut wall, allowing different food particles and antigens to leach out into systemic circulation and cause issues elsewhere in the body. So a lot of the wheat has been hybridized today, and so there's so much more gluten in content within the wheat, the barley, the rye, and this can be very aggravating to the gut. Also, things like conventional dairy products. The A1 beta casein can be very inflammatory and allergenic, as well as hydrogenated oils, corn oil, cottonseed oil, sunflower, safflower oil, some of these different vegetable oils, and then also refined sugars and even sugar alternatives, saccharin, sucralose, aspartame, different things like that can all be very egregious to the gut, and they can again just cause that permeability, the leaky gut type situation where the barrier opens up more and we have different food particles, undigested proteins can leach out and start to cause systemic inflammation. This is thought to be the foundation for many autoimmune conditions today. So it's not just skin issues. It's not just things like eczema and psoriasis and different dermatitis issues and rosacea, but it can be headaches and migraines, thyroid issues, can contribute to chronic fatigue syndrome, joint pain, overall just body inflammation, brain fog, hormonal imbalances, and really just gut issues themselves. And so when we are looking at a natural way to treat this, we're going to want to focus on an anti-inflammatory diet for starters here. And I'm just going to mention a few things. For instance, healthy fats are going to be very important. This is important for overall endocrine health and hormonal health, for proper neuronal conduction and signaling, but also for gut health itself too, which can then properly influence skin health. And so things like avocados, coconut products, coconut oil, chia seeds and flax seeds, great omega-3s there, walnuts and almonds, fatty fish like salmon. These are great fat sources that are going to be helpful to the body, and we don't want to shy away from those. Very important for the body in many different regards, many different body systems as well. And then as far as clean and lean proteins, things like organic turkey and chicken, grass-fed beef, again, the wild-caught salmon can factor in here as well. For carbohydrates, I like to recommend things like sweet potatoes and squash, although we don't want to go heavy on carbs or starches, but these can be a couple good options. Maybe a little wild rice, a little quinoa can be good as well to satisfy some of that carbohydrate requirement. But again, we want to limit that because oftentimes with eczema conditions, there's an affiliation with candida and yeast, and these sugars can be broken down and directly feed that. So we want to be careful with carbohydrate consumption at this time. And then I would also recommend bone broth. This is going to be so important. It has very important amino acids like proline, glycine, and glutamine. It can directly allow for a robust colon lining and gut lining to ward off that permeability and intestinal permeability, leaky gut. It has glycosaminoglycans, hyaluronic acid, chondroitin and sulfate. It has glucosamine and also just a lot of collagen. And we need to remember that a lot of the gut lining is composed of collagen, so we are directly reinforcing that. This is also why I recommend just a collagen supplement, good quality collagen supplement to further reinforce and bolster the gut lining. In addition, we are going to want to focus on certain herbs can be great here. Turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, pau d'arco, oregano. These are very anti-inflammatory herbs that are going to be good. And then also certain probiotics. And I'll mention a caveat with this too. I oftentimes with patients like to order a lab test, a stool test, to really determine where those bacterial bacterial levels at, so that, for instance, if someone is high in lactobacillus, we don't want to directly feed into that more and cause issues like a SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth, or really flare up symptoms. So it can be good to get an objective measure as to what's going on there. And then that can really direct how we're going to move forward with a soil-based probiotic or different probiotic foods. But for the most part, these can be great, like sauerkraut, kimchi, even tempeh, and a raw goat milk kefir, one of the few dairy products I would recommend here. And in addition to that, it's going to be important to minimize stress. Okay, when cortisol is high, when epinephrine is high, it can directly impact the gut lining, cause more permeability issues, and it can also affect other hormones in the body like estradiol, testosterone, DHEA, androstenedione. We want to balance this out. And so one great way I like to do this is, every day I wake up, I spend time in the Bible for starters. I love just communing with the Lord, having that time to pray and praise God, and really just orient my mind properly for the day. For some people too, it's getting out in nature, going to a park or a trail. Writing out a gratitude list can be great. And I'll even say in the emotional sector of things too, things like unforgiveness and bitterness can be direct toxins to the body. We want to make sure we can forgive as best as possible and eradicate a lot of that bitterness and just cultivate this attitude of gratitude and really focus on joy and the things we're grateful for. Now, as far as some topical things, there can be great natural remedies here. And again, I like to focus on the inside out healing, especially cleansing the gut and detoxifying. But if we're looking at things we can apply directly to the skin, the area to calm things down, diluted apple cider vinegar can be great with maybe a tea tree oil, geranium essential oil, lavender essential oil. So apple cider vinegar is great. Manuka honey with methyl glyoxal in there can be very antibacterial, very healthful to the skin in that way. Also coconut oil, and this has medium chain triglycerides. This can be very great, as well as aloe vera, spreading that on. These can be some great natural approaches to really help with the outside in approach. And then I would just mention too, a gentle soap. Sometimes a lot of just conventional soaps can be very abrasive and can really disrupt the acid mantle on the skin. So I'd recommend maybe a Castile or some natural soap with essential oils, or even like a Dr. Bronner's brand is reputable and good in this regard. So guys, these are just a few approaches to help naturally target eczema. Again, it's not something you have to deal with for life. I think if a lot of these protocols can be employed, we're going to see turnarounds in this area of our life to where we can have glowing, radiant, healthful, youthful looking skin, reclaim quality of life, be confident out in public again. This is something that can absolutely turn around. I've seen it happen. And I just wanted to bring some clarity to that today and talk about some dietary strategies, some herbs, and some supplements to help combat eczema. If you guys have further questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments, or email me directly, reach out to me, drshamus.com, here for you and to answer whatever questions you may have. I'll see you guys soon again in another future video. Hope you all have a great rest of the day.